Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. So, this is a debate discussion about whether or not Canada should become the 51st state. So, when Donald Trump made the suggestion for Canada to become the 51st state, and remember, this was about, I think, 7, 8 months ago, approximately. I think it was about 7, 8 months ago, maybe in a year. Anyways, it was 7, 8 months, a year. It was around that time Donald Trump suggested Canada become the 51st state. I actually thought that was a good idea because Canada, the government of Canada is extremely corrupt. And, Canada's been taken over by immigrants. They all hate Canada. They hate America. All of these anti-American immigrants in Canada. Canada takes everyone who hates America. Like any country that hates Americans, Canada takes these people as refugees. Like Canada is full of Indians now. Canada's full of Middle Eastern people, Iranians and Muslims. Canada's full of North Koreans and Russians. Everyone, every country that hates Americans, Canada welcomes these people and makes them refugees of Canada. So Canada has a lot of problems, and I do think it would be a good idea to make Canada the 51st state. Because this world's getting scary. Look how scary this world is. And if you think freedom of speech is bad in the United States, it's even worse in Canada. Freedom of speech is terrible in Canada. That's why so many Canadians have been revolting. I'm a conservative Canadian. I believe in freedom of speech, just like Charlie Kirk believed in freedom of speech. And I was extremely shocked, sad, and even angered that not only was an innocent man murdered, but it was over his freedom of speech, which is something, freedom of speech is something that I hold very dear. So, do I think that Donald Trump should make Canada the 51st state? Yes, I do. Now, I'll wait until more people come in the live stream and then I'll continue the discussion, which I think is going to be a very heated discussion, probably. Because given the nature of the topic, should Trump make Canada the 51st state? Obviously, people are going to have different opinions on this. Okay, let's go to comments. NFT came in and said will never happen. I disagree. I think it could happen. Clearly, in this world, anything could happen. We just look what just happened to Charlie Kirk. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Donald Trump made Canada the 51st state, especially after all of these Canadians, these liberal Canadians. I'm a conservative Canadian and I supported Charlie Kirk, but there's all of these liberal Canadians, like Canada's probably 80% liberal, and they all hated Charlie Kirk. They said Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist. I constantly heard that in Canada. I constantly heard people saying, all of these Canadian politicians, including all of these Canadian politicians, um, accusing Charlie Kirk of being a white supremacist, saying that he's a bigot, saying that he's a white supremacist, he's a bigot, he's racist. Um, and I don't think he's homophobic either. I don't think he's racist. I don't think he's homophobic. I don't think he's a bigot at all. And I don't think he's a white supremacist. And I'm a homosexual and I actually supported Charlie Kirk. And I don't think he was homophobic at all. I don't think he was racist. But Canada, the liberal Canadians, for years, in fact, there's a lot of university professors that literally said they would not allow Charlie Kirk to go to a Canadian university to do at the Canadian university what he was doing at the American universities. I've heard them say it. I've seen them say it. I've heard them say it, including the Canadian politicians who are constantly accusing everyone of being a white supremacist. I mean, you probably also saw Kamala Harris accuse people of being a white supremacist. She constantly, and Canadian politicians, constantly, they love to throw around the race card. They love to accuse everyone of being a white supremacist. They're the ones calling people cracker. They're the ones being homophobic. So one time I was in an argument, and I'm a real homosexual. I'm a real gay man. And I was in an argument with a female, and we were talking about physics, but it was like not me and her. It was a group of people. We were on X, Twitter, and we were having a conversation about physics. And I like science, mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics. So we were having a discussion about physics, Newtonian physics, all types of physics, nuclear physics. And suddenly this woman comes into the X and Twitter and she's like, are you gay? I'm like, this is a question about physics. I don't see what your question has anything to do with physics, so I'm not going to answer that. Then her like this is on X, this is on Twitter. Then her like I guess boyfriend, her male friend says, and he's like, answer the lady's question. I'm like, no, you will not tell me what to do. This is a group discussion about physics. This has nothing to do with my sexuality. Do not ask me if I'm gay. I won't even respond to a question like that. Then he rallied a bunch of them in the Twitter X group, and they're like, oh, if he doesn't answer our question, we'll boot him from the group. They're saying to boot me from the group. We're talking about physics, and I had extremely interesting insight to add about nuclear physics. And they were suddenly like, oh, answer the question, are you gay or not, or we'll boot you from the group. And of course I know I'm not stupid. If I say I'm gay, they're going to boot me. And if I don't, if I refuse to answer, they're going to boot me. And if I keep saying, oh, I'm not going to answer the question, it's none of your business. If I say stuff like that, they're going to boot me. So, finally, I just said, I could have lied. I could have said, sometimes, if you really feel like you're in danger, right? Obviously, if a complete stranger, nut job, asks you for your home phone number, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna give your home phone number to a nut job? No, right? You're gonna lie and either say, oh, sorry, like, you know what I mean? Or give them a fake number just so you can get away, right? So sometimes there's such a thing as white lies, right? But I didn't, and I could have went and said that I was straight. I could have said, oh, I'm a heterosexual, I'm straight. I could have even said I had a girlfriend, whatever. But I just kept saying, no, I'm not even going to answer this question. This is a discussion about physics. And I was just about to talk about nuclear physics because I have some Iranian friends from Iran, and they're also into nuclear physics. And I was trying to have an intelligent discussion about nuclear physics, and these homophobic a-holes come in and start attacking me. And then, and a few days later, one of the women accuses me of threatening them. I said, I never threatened you. You came at me. You attacked me. You decided to bring my sexuality up in a discussion about physics. We were talking about nuclear physics, and you decided to, like, because my voice sounds slightly feminine, because I don't have the most masculine sounding voice, this woman decided to derail the conversation, that which is about nuclear physics, which was a great conversation, and suddenly she wants to find out, she wants to do a gay witch hunt, which I've been subjected to gay witch hunts before, and she wants to find out if I'm a homosexual or not. These people are out of their minds. Okay? No wonder Iran is building a very successful nuclear physics program. No wonder the Iranians are building nuclear physics programs when we have, but don't get me wrong, there's a lot of homophobia in Iran too. So there's stupid people everywhere. There's stupid people everywhere. There's homophobia in Iran. But basically, I don't see. But the point of the story was, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm a virgin. I've never even had. I'm a nerd. I'm a science nerd. I'm a mathematics science nerd. Like, I just want an intelligent man. Like, all I've ever wanted was just to find an intelligent person to be friends with, just to have a friendly conversation with an intelligent person. And then, you try to talk to Americans, and every time you talk to Americans, they want to find out if you're gay, if you're Catholic, if you're this, if you're that. What does this matter? Why does this matter to you people? Why can't you just leave people alone and just let them lead their lives? I don't even go out into those gay cruises, nothing. I don't go to those stupid LGBTQ parades. I don't do none of that stuff. Those people are not even real gay people, okay? They're not real gays. They're something else, okay? So real gay people, we're closeted. Like, we don't come out with it. Okay? Only for the fact that I have to defend myself, because I can't even have a conversation about nuclear physics without some woman, American woman, coming in and asking, "Oh, is he gay? Find out if he's gay." And I know that if I say I'm gay, they're going to kick me from the group. And if I don't answer the question, they're still going to kick me from the group too. So, go to the comments. Then someone came in and said, "Buddy, get your facts straight. You claim Canada is 80% liberal when you forget that we have the Quebec Party and the Green Party." What I said was, I said most of Canada is liberal. I know you're not gonna disagree with me when I say that most of Canada is liberal. Whether it's 79% or 85% or 80%, I give an estimate. I gave an estimate, said around 80%. Second, the Quebec Party is no friend to the United States, and we all know this. In fact, Bridget and Emmanuel Macron, you know how Candace Owens is doing that whole expose against the French president and the wife being a man? Clearly, the French people are not an ally of the United States, especially right now. And Quebec is pretty much France. Quebec is pretty much the France party. They're in cahoots. They're together. I've seen broadcasts with the Canadian Defense Minister acknowledging that Canada and France are extreme allies. Canada and France have always been allies. And so, of course, when Candace Owens, American influencer, is coming out shit talking the French president and his wife, accusing the French president's wife of being a man, which I believe she is. I actually agree with Candace Owens on that one, on many things. Then suddenly France and Canada, they're like doing this attack on the United States. Canada and France. And I actually emailed Candace Owens because I was actually really concerned that maybe, just maybe, it's a possibility that this whole attack on Charlie Kirk was really also an attack on Candace Owens, because Candace Owens was like best friends with Charlie Kirk. And Candace Owens was exposing the French government, exposing Brigitte Macron, exposing Emmanuel Macron, exposing the French people for all of the creepy, weirdo stuff they do. The fact the French president's wife's a man, the fact that, their relationship and how they met, everything. Candace Owens was exposing these people. And I believe that it's in my tuition, it's tuition. In my intuition, it's a very good possibility that the French government is behind the Charlie Kirk assassination. The French president and the French president's wife, Brigitte, is behind the Charlie Kirk assassination. Because when France and when the French government, when they want to go after someone, you know who they go after? They go after their friends and family. If they really wanted to hurt Candace Owens, they would go after her friends and family. And what did they do? They assassinated one of Candace Owens' best friends. Charlie Kirk was like the guy who made Candace Owens. Even Candace Owens admits that there would be no Candace Owens without Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made her. Like, she admits it. She said it on her show. She said, if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens would not have a platform. So clearly they were close. They were best friends. And the French government, the French president, and the French president's husband, Brigitte Macron, who clearly looks like a man, is a man in my opinion. And I agree with Candace Owens on that, on many things. They wanted to get back at Candace Owens. And how did they get back at her? They got back at Candace Owens by going after her friends and family, especially her best friend and mentor. And if you saw Candace Owens when she was describing her best friend Charlie Kirk and how emotional she was, and especially the ending of that video, like, it made me cry, because you could clearly see that Candace Owens loved Charlie Kirk, like they were friends. And the French government, I believe it was the French government. I believe Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron, the French president, and the French president's wife, husband, whatever it is, I believe they are behind the Charlie Kirk assassination. And they did it to get revenge on Candace Owens. Because the real way they wanted to hurt Candace Owens, this is what they do. The real way they hurt people, the real way that the French president and the wife, the real way that the French government gets back at people is by going after their friends and family. And what did they do to Candace Owens? They went after one of her best friends, Charlie Kirk, and they assassinated him. And that Tyler Robinson guy, Tyler Robinson, he does look like kind of Frenchy. He's got one of those faces that I could swear are French. Like, you have to admit, if you look at Russian faces, you could be like, that's a Russian. Like, I've seen so many Russian faces, I'd be like, that's a Russian, right? You can kind of look at certain faces and be like, that's a French face, that's a Canadian face, that's an American face, right? We've seen it. That's a Japanese, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised, and look at the timing here. The timing also adds up, because Candace Owens, right? So Charlie Kirk, he'd been doing this for years. Charlie Kirk had been going to universities for years, saying more or less the same stuff, having debates. He's been doing this already for years. But Candace Owens, she only started her, special exposing Brigitte, exposing the Macron family, exposing the French government series. Candace Owens started her exposing Brigitte series just like about a month ago? You see, the timing adds up. The timing adds up, because if they really wanted to go after Charlie Kirk just for the fact that he went to universities and he was so controversial, Charlie Kirk had already been doing this for years. They probably would have went after him like years ago. But then suddenly Candace Owens, she starts a special YouTube series where she's exposing the French government and the French president and the French president's wife, thingy, whatever it is. Then the next thing you know, 2 months later, Candace Owens, her like best friend and her mentor, gets assassinated, Charlie Kirk. You think that's a coincidence? I don't think that's a coincidence. Okay, let's go back to comments. So, Lou Luneta came in and said each province should be considered independently or else there is the same problem. No, I think Canada should be united, and Canada should be united in welcoming the United States into our arms. Canada, because Canada doesn't have any arms. That's another thing. Canada, we are pretty much defenseless. So all of these Canadians constantly talking shit about Americans, constantly talking behind Americans' backs, constantly doing sneaky stuff behind Americans, setting Americans up, setting California on something. All of these Canadians doing all of these things behind Americans' backs. Do these Canadians not realize that Canada, we're pretty much unarmed? And we're pretty much defenseless. And if the Americans wanted, they could invade Canada tomorrow and take over Canada. Heck, Donald Trump, asking politely if Canada wants to be America's 51st state, he didn't even have to ask politely. Donald Trump could just round up the American military, send them to Canada, and next thing you know, all these Canadians are hogtied. So, like, Donald Trump was actually being kind of nice when he, like, politely suggested Canada become America's 51st state. And Canada, the Canadian government is corrupt. I've been emailing evidence to the White House for years. I have been sending emails to Fox News. I've been sending emails to NBC News, MSNBC, all of them. Because, I'm Canadian and I don't really know too well which news sources can be trusted. Of course, the MSNBC people say that the Fox News people are bad. And then the Fox News people say the MSNBC people are bad. And me being Canadian, I really don't know for sure. So I just figured I'll just send emails to both sides. I sent emails to MSNBC. I sent emails to MSNBC News. I sent emails to Fox News. I sent emails to Laura Ingraham. I sent emails to Tucker Carlson, and I even contacted Candace Owens. And I've been sending this evidence, these news articles that show how corrupt Canada is and the Canadian government is. I have been sending this evidence for years to the government, to the United States government, to the White House, to Candace Owens, to Laura Ingraham, to Tucker Carlson, to Fox News, to MSNBC News, to all of them. So there's a reason why Donald Trump said about making Canada the 51st state, especially after they've seen the news articles from Canada. Like, the Canadian government thinks it's okay to have transvestite school teachers. The government of Canada, the creepy liberal government of Canada, thinks it's okay to have transvestite school teachers. And the Prime Minister of Canada, French Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, creepy weirdo French Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. If you just Google search Justin Trudeau drag queen parade, transvestite parade, if you just Google search on Google Images Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, drag queen festival, transvestite parade, Justin Trudeau transvestite parade, the pictures are all over Google Images. The pictures are all there. The pictures are there. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, the creepy French Canadian Prime Minister of Canada, he goes to transvestite parades. He takes pictures in public with transvestites. The pictures are all over Google Images. You could see the French Canadian pervert Prime Minister of Canada taking pictures with transvestite school teachers. Like, the evidence is all there. These people are open about it. These people are openly creeps. These people are openly perverts. These people are open about it. And I'm against all of this. I'm a conservative Canadian. I am conservative. And real gay people, real gay men, we're like army soldiers. We like masculine, strong army soldiers. We're into conservative, nice looking guys who know how to dress up and wear a suit. Real homosexual Canadians, real homosexual Canadian men, we like men. We like masculine, strong men. We don't go around to these creepy pride parades and throw around rainbow and glitter. And we don't throw around dildos and walk down the street half naked with no respect for yourself. An army soldier wouldn't do that. A gay army soldier would never do that. A gay Canadian army soldier, a gay Canadian military soldier would never do that. Would never a military soldier, a gay Canadian military, a real homosexual Canadian military soldier would never go to these creepy pedo friggin' pride parades and throw dildos around and throw around gross creepy glitter and rainbows and dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. That's why these creeps dress up like women. They're straight guys, they're straight perverts who like to dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. That's why they dress up like women. That's why all of these straight heterosexual perverts, they dress up like women just so they could have an excuse to use the little girl's bathroom. That's why you find all of these straight guys in the little girl's bathroom. And these straight guys, they say, oh, just because they put on a wig. They try to justify it by saying because they put on a wig and makeup, that gives them the right to use the little girl's bathroom. See, it's all of these straight heterosexual perverts. And many of them are Russian. Many of them are Russian too, by the way. There's so many Russian heterosexual perverts that think that it's okay for them to use the women's bathroom just because they wore makeup and put on a wig. That's who these people are. They're not gay men. A real homosexual man would never use the little girl's bathroom, would never dress up like a woman. Do you not know the definition of a real homosexual? Men who like men. Men, masculine, tall, strong, army soldiers, tall, strong, masculine, construction workers, masculine, strong, construction workers, army soldiers, masculine men. This is the definition of homosexuality. Men who like men. We don't like women. We don't dress up like women. We don't like to talk. We don't talk like women. We don't dress up like women. We don't use the women's bathroom. Homosexual men like men. So why would any homosexual man, no real homosexual man would ever use the women's bathroom? We don't like women. If we don't want to go on a date with them, why would we want to go into the bathroom with them? If homosexual men would never want to go on a date with straight women, why would homosexual men want to go into the bathroom with them? You see, it's not gay men that are dressing up like these transgender weirdo transvestites. It's heterosexual perverts. It's straight men. It's straight heterosexual perverts that like to dress up like women so that they have an excuse to use the little girl's room. That's who these people are at these so-called gay pride parades. They're not gay pride. They're heterosexual perverts, heterosexual creeps, straight men, straight perverts that like to dress up like women just so they have an excuse to use the little girl's room. And then if they're ever caught in the little girl's room, if these straight perverts, if these straight heterosexual perverts are ever caught in the little girl's room, then they turn around as a defense and they try to claim that they're gay. They are not gay. No gay man would ever use the little girl's bathroom. And by the way, like women stink. Like women, they stink. Like they got this odor and it makes me want to vomit. Like I can smell when they're, like women stink. They smell. They do. I could smell women. Like I could smell them. They stink. Like they got this odor. I don't know, it makes me want to vomit. So that's another reason why I like men. I would never use the women's bathroom. Never, ever. I would never use the women's bathroom. Women stink. And they're gross and they're gold diggers and they only care about money and they'll cheat on you. They're backstabbers. Women are backstabbers. They're not loyal. They're not loyal like men are loyal. Men are loyal. Men are loyal. They're honorable. Men, strong, masculine, army soldiers, strong, masculine construction workers that have jobs, that have real jobs. Construction workers, they have real jobs. They work hard all day. They're not some woman that gets a job at an office spreading out gossip at the office. Like, did you hear Kathy? And did you hear the latest gossip about Kathy? Like, no, men are strong, masculine men. They are not like feminine weirdos. They are not like feminine women that like to go around and spread rumors and gossip at the workplace, or like these social media influencers. Oh, I'm a social media influencer. Oh, yeah, that's what I do. Oh, I totally have a real job. Oh, yeah, I have a real job. I'm a social media influencer. Oh, I just talk shit about people all day. Like, no, you know what's a real job? A construction worker. A strong, masculine man who has a real job is a construction worker who builds our buildings for us, who builds our homes, who builds our buildings and homes which women destroy. Women destroy the buildings built by hardworking construction workers. So I'm telling you, this is who real homosexual gay men are. We don't use the women's bathroom. We don't use the little girl's bathroom. The people who want to dress up like transvestites just so they could use the people who want to dress up like transvestites just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. Those are straight perverts. Those are straight heterosexual perverts who like to dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. That's who those people are. They are not homosexuals. A real homosexual man would never use the woman's bathroom and would never dress up like a woman, would never want to talk like a woman. So we're not, this is a lie. This whole saying that, gay people, gay men are part of the LGBTQ, it's a lie because the other thing is gay men, we don't get along with lesbians. Lesbians don't like dick. Lesbians don't like men. Why would gay men get along? Why would gay men get along with lesbians? We don't get along with them. We don't like them. We can't be in the same room as them. Gay men, real gay men. So as soon as I saw these people dancing in the street together, half naked, those are not lesbians. Those are not real lesbians. Those are not real gay men. Because real gay men and real lesbians do not dance naked together. I'm telling you. I am telling you. And I've known real lesbians. They'll beat the crap out of you. Like, I know real lesbians, okay? They would never, ever, not only would they never dance naked near a man, they wouldn't even dance near a man at all. Real lesbians. I know real lesbians. So those people, those men and women dancing in those so-called LGBTQ parades, those are heterosexual perverts and creeps. Those are heterosexual straight creeps and perverts that like to dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. And look at who are half the teachers that are sleeping with their students. It's females. It's all of these female teachers that are found out to be pedos. All of these female teachers are pedos and they're being caught sleeping with high school guys. All of these female teachers, all these creepy female teachers. See, it's all the straight people. They're the ones who are the perverts. It's the straight perverts pretending as if because they label themselves as LGBTQ that they can get away with all of this crap. Okay, it's all them. They're the ones doing it. I tell you, real lesbians do not dance half naked, and they don't even dance at all. And I know real lesbians, they barely dance, okay? Did you see Ellen DeGeneres trying to dance? That's why it was so funny. That's why it was so funny every day seeing Ellen dance because, seeing a lesbian dance is kind of funny, Like those people don't dance, okay? They're not dancers. They're not like known for being dancers, okay? And they're not known for partying like that. I know real lesbians, and real lesbians will not even be in the same room as men. So why would they like to hang out with gay men? Gay men like dick, okay? Like the name Dick, like the name Dick. Like the guy's name is Dick. Sometimes there's a guy's name's Richard. But what is the short form for Richard? Dick, right? So the short form name for Richard is Dick. And, Dick can be a good boss. Dick can be a great boss. I had one of my previous bosses was named Dick. His name was Richard, but then we called him Dick because that's the short form for Richard is Dick. And we love Dick. Gay men, we love Dick. So why would we want to be transgender and cut it off? A real gay man would never want to cut it off. So these transgender and half these transgenders, they're just straight perverts. They're not gonna cut their thing off either. Half these so-called transgenders are just straight perverts who just dress up like women so that they could use the little girl's bathroom. They're not gonna cut their thing off either. So that's what I'm saying. So real homosexual men, we love like our my previous boss. My previous boss's name was Dick. His full name Richard, short for, and we call him Dick for short because that's Well, no, his dick wasn't short. His dick was long. But anyways, no, his name was long. The Richard. Richard is a long name. Dick is the short form of Richard. Okay. Anyways, basically, gay men, we do not like women. Literally, the definition of a homosexual man is men who like men. Army soldiers, construction workers, strong, tall, masculine men with muscles and packages. Big packages, like mailman, right? Mailman with a big package. A mailman. Oh, and I've seen some mailmen with big packages. Mailmen with big packages when they're delivering the mail, and you notice they have packaged how big their package is. Have you ever noticed that? It's like you ordered on Amazon. You ordered like these stationery pencils and pens for the office. You ordered this on Amazon, and then you noticed how big the package is, how big the mailman's package is. So this is what we like. Gay men, we like ordering office supplies just so we could see the hot mailman with a big package delivering a big package to us. This is gay men. We like men. Men. We do not like women. We do not dress up like women. We do not go to these creepy pride parades and throw around glitter and rainbows. Rainbows are for little girls. Gay men do not like little girls. Gay men do not like little girls. They do not like rainbows. Gay men do not like rainbows. Gay men do not like little girls. Gay men do not like glitter. This is all stuff that women do. Women who like spread gossip and they're not hardworking people, women. Not the women that I'm referring to, not all women. Obviously there are women that are hardworking, especially in the bedroom. There are women that work hard in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. Like we all know how women get their jobs sometimes. But anyways, but certain women, I'm referring to certain group of women, not all women. They're not hardworking. They're not construction workers. They're not masculine. They're not strong. They're not noble. They're not loyal. A lot of these women are gold diggers. They're backstabbers. They only care about money. They have no respect for themselves or other people. They're thieves. You wouldn't be surprised how many female thieves there are. In fact, it's all over YouTube. Now there's videos of all of showing that these women are the thieves. Women are the thieves. One time I went into a dollar store and the stupid woman who probably was the thief herself, employees. Employees are the ones who steal, eh? And they try to blame it on customers. But there was a report, I think it was either Inside Edition or Dateline, where they did a whole report. 50% of the people who steal are employees. So I went into the dollar store and I had a $20 bill. I could buy half the dollar. I had a $20 bill. Like, I'm not going to steal anything from the dollar store. Are you crazy? So I'm like going down the aisles and this lady comes over and she's like, "Oh, can we check your coat?" I'm like, "It's a nice coat. Why?" There's nothing in the coat. It was like I was flat and thin. And she was insinuating that maybe, and I said, "How about you check the cameras? I'll wait. And as soon as you check the cameras and see that I didn't steal anything, I'm going to sue your ass." And then she said, "Oh, it's okay. We don't need to check the cameras. You could just go." I said, "Yeah, I will just go. And the next time you try to falsely accuse me of stealing, when we all know that it's you shoving it up your hoo-ha, it's women. Women steal, they shove it up their purse and their hoo-ha. That's how women steal. We all know it's women who steal. So the next time you try to blame all of the stealing from the company, we all know that it's the employees who steal. And then the employees who steal from the company, they try to find a scapegoat. And they try to blame it on the customers. When there's friggin' cameras everywhere. There's friggin' camera, and thank God there's cameras. All of these women who falsely accuse men of rape, all of these women who falsely accuse men of rape, all of these women who falsely accuse men of rape, and now there's cameras, thank God there's cameras, showing these women are liars, okay? Showing that these, and like there's video footage of the woman who falsely accused her husband of beating her, and then sure enough, the video footage, so thank God. Thank God there's cameras now. So gay men, we don't like women. That's literally the definition of a homosexual. Men who like men. We do not like women. We do not dress up like women. We do not dress up like women to use the girls' bathroom. We don't like women. If we don't want to, if gay men don't want to even go on a date with women, why would they want to go into the bathroom with women? And women stink. Like they smell. Okay, women, especially that time of the month. Oh my God, they stink. Dude, they smell like I can't. I'm gonna make me on the vomit. I can't handle that smell. Okay, I like so many things. I like the smell of fresh cut grass. I like the smell of gasoline. I like the smell of fresh cut gas. Fresh cut grass. I like the smell of fresh cut grass. I like the smell of gasoline. I like the smell of. I don't really like the smell of gasoline, but I think compared to women, I mean, compared to women, women stink. Like they're especially around that time of the month. Like it smells like a fish market. It smells like you're walking in a fish market. It smells like a fish market. Women stink. So, like real gay men, especially, why would we want to dance around women in a pride parade that stink? Like, especially dance half naked. You know, just as much as lesbians, real lesbians don't want to dance half naked near men, real gay men don't want to dance half naked near lesbians. It's a two-way street. Okay, you probably know that real lesbians do not want to dance half naked near men, gay men especially, and gay men, we don't want to dance half naked near women. So, like these whole so-called LGBTQ parades, it's actually straight heterosexual perverts that like to dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. These are imposters, these are frauds. They're not real lesbians, they're not real gays. Now, they might be real transgenders. I don't really know about transgenders. All I know is any person who wants to cut out their dick off is a nut job. Any person who wants, gay men love dick. Gay men, like the boss, like, you know, the guy whose name is Dick. Gay men love dick. Gay men would never want to cut a dick off. They never would want to do that. So gay men look at transgenders like they're crazy. If a real transgender, I'm not just talking about straight heterosexual perverts that like to use the little girl's bathroom. I'm talking about like a real transgender. Now let's talk about someone who's a real transgender who really wants to get that surgery and really want to remove their thingy. If they walked over to a bunch of gay guys, and if the transgender person said about, you know, getting a surgery and cutting the dick off, all of the gay guys would suddenly grab their dicks and be like, "You're not cutting my dick off. What's wrong with you, you nut job? What's wrong with you, you fucking nut..." Sorry. What's wrong with you, you nut job? You're not cutting my dick off. That's how real gay men, we look at transgenders like. What's wrong with you? Why would you want to cut a dick off? Gay men love dick. That's like the whole point of being gay, is gay men love dick. Why would gay men want to cut a dick off? So gay men and transgenders have nothing to do with each other. We are the opposites. We are like total opposites. Gay men love dick, and transgenders, real transgenders, want to cut their dick off. So we are total opposites. Gay men look at transgenders are the enemy. Transgenders want to cut dick off. Transgenders are the enemy. Gay men love dick. Real gay men love dick. Like my boss, Dick, my former boss, whose name was Dick. So when you see these people being lumped together, that's how I knew these people were frauds. They're fake. Because transgenders, lesbians, and gays do not commingle. These groups of people do not get along. Real lesbians do not get along with real gay men, do not get along with transgenders who want to cut dicks off. Gay men love dick. Gay men would never want to cut dicks off. So you see there's a whole bunch of frauds in society. There's people who are imposters. And I'm so tired every time I'm trying to have a real discussion about science and mathematics. I try to talk about physics or nuclear physics. I try to talk about microbiology. Suddenly, a woman comes in and says, "Are you gay? Are you gay?" Honey, if you don't know how to calculate 25 by 25, if you can't do simple calculus in your head, you shouldn't be in this group, okay? Honey, do not ask me about my sexuality. Honey, listen, honey, homophobic honey. If you cannot do simple mathematics in your head, then you should not be in a science group discussing nuclear physics, discussing calculus, discussing algebra, discussing balancing equations, discussing anything of value. Okay? So these women who are obsessed because they're not smart enough to be able to do mathematics. So because of that, they get upset and they go around and they try to do a gay witch hunt. And real gay men, we are closeted because we know that when we're closeted, we get better jobs, But of course, sometimes we're outed in like a gay witch hunt. That's what these women do. These women, they like to find hardworking, noble guys and try to out them as being gay. They try to, who's gay? Who's gay? It's none of your business, honey. Why don't you do your taxes? Why don't you stop spending all your husband's money? Why don't you stop drinking? Why don't you stop drinking, honey? Why don't you try to get your friends sober? Why don't you stop drinking, get your friends sober, do your taxes, fix your house, fix your garage, make a nice dinner for your family, and stop focusing on me and leave me alone. Because I just want to be a scientist. I just want to build rockets and travel to other galaxies and find aliens in outer space. I just want to do cool science stuff. I don't want a woman coming into a science group when I'm trying to have a discussion with fellow scientists and her trying to say, "Are you gay? Are you gay?" It's none of your business, honey. Are you able to do long division in your head? Because if you can't even do long division in your head, if you can't even do simple mathematics in your head, then you should not be in a serious science discussion group where we talk about science and mathematics and algebra, and we talk about calculus, and we talk about trigonometry, and we talk about the Fibonacci sequence and geometric sequences and fractals, especially fractals. I love talking about fractals. So like this is the issue that real gay men face in society. We just want to be hardworking, noble guys. We want to have a job. We just want to have a normal life, and we have all of these homophobic women harassing us. And there's even women who like hit on me and sexually harass me. I tell them I'm gay, and then they sexually harass me even more. Then they want me even more. When you tell a woman that you're a real gay man and you're not interested, then these crazy homophobic women, they want you even more. I've been sexually harassed by these crazy homophobic women. So that's it. Like there's real gay men, and we're being mislabeled. There's real gay men, not mislabeled, because this whole mislabel crap was invented by these people, these creepy people. We just want to be left alone. We just want to be left alone. Just leave us alone. Don't even ask us what our sexuality is. Because all of these people who want to have a conversation about sexuality, those people are not real gay men. Real gay men, we want to have a conversation about science, mathematics, about astronomy, about rocket ships, about sci-fi movies. Real gay men, we want to have conversations about things that are interesting. Sports, or even sports. Okay, football, hockey. Real gay men want to have conversations about those things. We do not want to talk about sexuality. Okay? In fact, if you knew the real mind of a gay man, we are not proud. We are not proud people, okay? In fact, the whole reason why gay men love to sneak around is because they love sneaking around. They love doing it in private. They love being married to like a bitch of a wife and then sneaking around on her and then sleeping with a guy on the side. Okay, because it's more spicy. It's more like, titillating when it's a secret. It's more spicy and titillating when it's a secret. So gay men love to be married to women and then, secretly on the side, sneak around with a Russian army soldier. I don't know why I said Russian army soldier. Could be any army soldier. Could be German army soldier. Could be, well, I wouldn't get with a North Korean army soldier just because I'm not into North Koreans. But still, you know what I mean? It could be any army soldier. It could be Russian army soldier. It could be German army soldier. So I guess Polish. I guess Polish army soldier too. Anyways, so that's real gay men. Okay, so they are lying about us. They are telling lies, and they are pretending to be us. These are fake heterosexual people, heterosexual perverts pretending to be gay men. They're not gay men. Heterosexual women pretending to be lesbians. They're not real lesbians. Okay, I know real lesbians, and they will not dance naked with other men in a group. Okay, real lesbians won't run down the street, dance half naked down the street. Real lesbians won't do that. I know real lesbians. They won't dance naked near men. Okay, so no, these are all straight heterosexual perverts, weirdos, straight heterosexual pervs, and dancing in these so-called, they're all straight heterosexual perverts pretending to be gays and lesbians, and they're not real gays. They're not real lesbians. So someone came in, let's go back to comments, and said, what does Mr. Hanky have to do with politics? Kevin came in, and Kevin said, what does Mr. Hanky have to do with politics? You know what Mr. Hanky has to do with politics? Um, I think it's pretty obvious in the picture, but uh, I would say that all of these Indians, these Indian immigrants, they're constantly accusing Canadians, real Canadians, of being white supremacists, being racist. Like you can't correct your order at Tim Hortons without getting called racist, you know? You walk in and be like, I ordered a tea. I ordered a tea with milk, and you gave me a black coffee. Like you could go into Tim Hortons and be like, "Hi, I ordered a tea with milk." This would actually be like if Canadians actually had the balls to complain, because we know that they'll spit in our coffee. Actually, they'll spit in our coffee whether we complain or not. So, anyways, imagine a Canadian goes into Tim Hortons and be like, "I ordered a tea with lemon, and you gave me a black coffee." You know, like, you racist, dude, racist, you racist, you're racist, dude, racist. No, I just would like my tea with milk or honey. I don't want a coffee, a black coffee. You're racist. What's wrong with black coffee? Why don't you want to have a black coffee? You should try black coffee. It'll make you better, okay? You'll work harder, you'll work faster, you'll be like, do, 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 do. You should want a black coffee. Why don't you want to drink a tea? Okay, tea. Are you English? Are you one of those people from England that colonized India? Are you British? Are you British man who colonized India? Oh, that's why you want to drink a tea with lemon, huh? No, why don't you drink a nice coffee? What's wrong with a black coffee? It make you work harder. You be working harder. You be moving faster. You drink black coffee. You be like, do, 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 do. Next thing you know, your whole day's half done. Yeah, you should have black coffee. Go away, you racist. White supremacist. Go get away from the Tim Hortons. Don't come back to Timmy's. So that was a bit of a reenactment, but basically that's how they are in Canada. Like they're constantly accusing real Canadians of being racist, being white supremacists, and they're all celebrating this Charlie Kirk assassination. You should have seen how many Indians I saw like happy and celebrating on September 11th, 2025. Constantly in Canada, I'm seeing Canadians and Indians like celebrating on September 11th, especially this year when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And like, you know, when you walk into a room with a bunch of them and they start speaking Hindi, isn't that rude? Isn't that rude? Isn't that really rude? Like if I knew that they don't understand English and then suddenly they came in the room and we started all speaking English, they get mad, right? Like why do they think it's okay that like we go into a room and like we walk into a room with them and next thing you know they're like all start speaking Hindi because they don't want us to understand what they're saying. Like so these people they don't like us, they don't like us, they're racist, they don't like white supremacists. They don't like white people. They accuse every white person of being a white supremacist. And they're not nice people. And I would never trust them to make my coffee at Tim Hortons because they would spit in it. Which, by the way, I actually prefer black coffee. I don't like tea. Although I do like British guys. Because they're like, they have those nice accents. Like they're like James Bond 007, you know? They're like, like, would you like a cup of tea, right? So those British guys, they're all preppy and they got those nice British accents. But anyways, I don't really like drink. I actually do prefer black coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink tea anyways. But you know, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't even trust these people to make my coffee or my tea at Tim Hortons. Like, they're racist. They're mean. I know that what they spit in our food anyways. They whether we're nice or not, they'll still spit in our food. They'll spit in our coffee. They don't want to work $10 an hour to serve us. And I don't think that they should. I don't want these people to serve us. Listen, I am a hardworking man. I am not a rich white elitist. Only you know who wants these servers? You know who wants these Indian servers? The rich white Canadian elitists. It's the elite. It's the elite. Hardworking conservative Canadians with jobs. We make our own coffee. We make our own tea. Hardworking conservative Canadians with jobs, Canadian lumberjacks, Canadian construction workers, Canadian army soldiers. We make our own tea, we make our own bed, especially army soldiers. You know, army guys, we make our own bed. No one makes our bed for us. Okay, especially you go to those hotels, in like Cancun, Mexico, and then the next thing you know, the maid walks in and you're like, oh, I clean. Honey, I'm in, like, what are you doing? Why are you walking in my room? Like, this is so weird, you know? She comes in like 3 o'clock in the morning. I clean. Like, honey, what? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm never going to go to vacation in Mexico again. Anyways, especially, you know, anyway. But no, so I make my own bed. I make my own food. I make my own coffee. I make my own tea. I make anything I want, I make myself. I do not want, and Canada should not be taking basically slave wage workers because I don't think that's fair either. I think that that's a service to these people. Okay? I don't think that they should be paid $10 an hour like minimum wage. Like no, what I'm saying is they should be paid a fair wage. Okay? Anyone with a job should be paid a fair wage, okay? So, the people who want all of these immigrants is because it's the rich elites like Justin Trudeau, the rich elites, the billionaires, the rich elite billionaires like Justin Trudeau. They want slave labor, basically. They want slave wages. They want slave wage workers. That's who wants these people. It's the rich elites like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the rich billionaire, rich elite. That's why he filled Canada with all of these immigrants to basically take these slave wage labor jobs. And I don't think it's fair to these people either. I don't think it's fair to Indians that they're being basically manipulated and controlled via money, and they're being taken advantage of for the fact that they're desperate for a job, and they're being taken advantage of. And I don't think that's fair. And I think the rich elites, like Justin Trudeau, the rich elite Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, he should be in prison. From all the innocent people who've been put in prison in Canada, Justin Trudeau is the one who should be arrested, put in prison, and strip searched and made to bend over and spread his butt cheeks. Justin Trudeau's the one who should be in prison. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, the French Canadian Prime Minister of Canada, who did blackface 3 times and lied about it, who basically forced the COVID disaster on everyone, made everyone wear those stupid COVID masks. Justin Trudeau, who had destroyed businesses during COVID because of his COVID policies that destroyed hardworking Canadian businesses. Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French Canadian pervert Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he's the one who should be in prison. He's the one who should be strip searched and made to bend over and cough and spread his butt cheeks. That's who should be in prison, is Prime Minister of Canada Justin Trudeau. And he is the one who filled Canada with all of these immigrants. And he just wanted to do this because to make them the slave labor immigrants, so that they would work these slave wage labor jobs. Okay, it's slave. They're practically they're modern slaves. It's the modern day slaves where they take people who are desperate for jobs and they pay them very little money to do these like barely minimum wage labor jobs. So I don't think it's fair to the Indians. I don't think it's fair to Canadians, hardworking Canadians. And I think Justin Trudeau should be. And it's not like the people coming from these other countries, they're not nice people. Many of them are criminals, many of them are rapists. So Justin Trudeau has filled Canada, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, has filled the French Canadian Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, has filled Canada with all of these criminal immigrants. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do more than just spit in our food at Tim Hortons. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. And now the other issue too with what happened with Charlie Kirk is the Nazis are trying to call for censorship. If you watch all of these news programs, now they're saying that they're blaming the media. They're blaming which, listen, the media, they're not innocent either. But like they're trying to suggest that because they were labeling these far right people as dictators and Nazis, that the guy who did it was justified. No, that's not the case. Listen, these like murder is murder. Murder is wrong. There's no justification for murder because they'll always find a reason to justify it. Like what if this guy wasn't a Nazi, or I'm not saying he's a Nazi, but I'm saying let's just say he was like a hardworking, noble guy, and then let's say he cheated on his wife. Like there's no reason to murder someone. Murder is murder. So these news stations are trying to say that, oh, this is the fault of the left, which, don't get me wrong, the left is pretty guilty. But what I'm saying is, like, they're trying to call for censorship. They're trying to called for saying, oh, you can't call this person a dictator no more. You can't call him a Nazi because if you call a politician a Nazi, he'll get assassinated. See, that was the argument that they were trying to make on Piers Morgan. I was watching Piers Morgan on Uncensored, it was a big debate. Piers Morgan Uncensored, he had a bunch of leftists, he had a bunch of right-wing people, and they were fighting, like they were bickering over the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it's basically a bunch of left-wing people versus the right-wing people on the Piers Morgan's Uncensored YouTube channel. And they were having a big fight. And they were actually trying to suggest or say that they're trying to call for censorship. They're trying to say we can't allow people to call politicians Nazis anymore. They're not allowed to call, like you can't accuse a politician of being a Nazi or a communist because then they'll get assassinated. No, that's not... I hate how the media, I hate how they twist everything. They try to twist everything. Murder is wrong. Assassination is wrong. But you cannot take away freedom of speech. You cannot take away freedom of speech. If someone wants to call a politician a Nazi or a dictator, they should. Imagine in World War II if they suddenly were like, oh, you can't call Hitler a dictator no more. You can't accuse Hitler of being a dictator because then they're worried Hitler would get assassinated. Like, what kind of logic is that? So this is not the solution. The solution is to not take our free speech away. Why are we being punished for the actions of this guy, Tyler Robinson? Tyler Robinson is the murderer. He murders Charlie Kirk, and then the government is trying to suggest that everyone should be punished. Everyone's freedom of speech should be taken away because Charlie Kirk was assassinated by this Tyler Robinson guy. You see how the government likes to twist things? No, we should not be blamed. The everyday hardworking Canadian conservative citizen, the everyday hardworking American conservative should not be blamed. Our rights should not be violated. Our rights should not be taken away. Our freedom of speech should not be taken away just because Tyler Robinson, which, listen, he's a murderer, and I definitely want this guy to be in prison forever. So I'm definitely against this guy. I'm definitely against what he did to Charlie Kirk and the Charlie Kirk assassination. But Charlie Kirk would not have wanted our freedom of speech to be taken away over this. And I especially know that about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a champion for freedom of speech. And Charlie Kirk would not have wanted our conservative and especially conservative American and conservative Canadian, our freedom of speech to be taken away. Charlie Kirk would not have wanted this to happen. So this is not a result. This is not what Charlie Kirk would have wanted. He would not have wanted our freedom of speech to be taken away, and for the government and the media to suggest, oh well, maybe people shouldn't be allowed to call politicians Nazis no more, or that's not. And by the way, that's not why he was assassinated. I believe he was assassinated, in my opinion, because two reasons. I have two theories actually. One is the white supremacy theory, because it's Indians and black and everything but white trying to take out the whites. Alleged. I don't believe Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist. That's not what I believe, but they believe it. I don't believe Charlie Kirk was a white supremacist, but they believe it. They have accused him of being a white supremacist. Kamala Harris waged war on white supremacy. So they're the ones who believe it. And one of the theories is that they assassinated him because they perceived him to be a white supremacist and they're trying to get rid of the white supremacist leaders. That's why, in my opinion, that's one theory why they assassinated him. The second theory why I believe that he was really assassinated was because Charlie Kirk was the best friend of Candace Owens. And Candace Owens was doing a major expose, exposing the French government. Candace Owens was exposing the French government, the French president, the French president's wife. The French president's wife and the French president, they sued Candace Owens, but of course they did more than just sue her. They wanted revenge on her. They wanted revenge on Candace Owens, and therefore the French president and his wife. This is my second theory. The second theory is my second speculation. My second theory about the Charlie Kirk assassination is that it was the French government, the French president and the wife. They did it to get back at Candace Owens because, when they go after someone, they go after their friends and family. And what did? They went after one of Candace Owens' best friends, Charlie Kirk. And so I suspect that this was the French government's doing because they've done stuff like this before. You know, the French people, they invented the word for espionage. If you look at the word espionage, espionage is a French word, right? So the French government, they're known for stuff like this. I wouldn't be surprised if this whole Charlie Kirk assassination was the French government trying to get revenge on Candace Owens by taking out one of her best friends. And, and sure enough, if you saw the Candace Owens YouTube special on Charlie Kirk, like they were friends. Like Candace Owens was dear friends of Charlie Kirk. So I believe my second theory about what happened to Charlie Kirk and the Charlie Kirk assassination. So my second theory about the Charlie Kirk assassination is that it was the French government, the French president, and the French president's wife doing this to get back at Candace Owens because she did this whole special exposing Bridget series, exposing the French government series. Candace Owens did a whole series exposing the French government and the French government's wife. And then the French government and the French president sued Candace Owens, but they weren't enough with just suing her, so they wanted to get back at her by taking out one of her best friends, which is Charlie Kirk. So that's the second theory as the Charlie Kirk assassination. So time will tell. Hopefully we'll find out exactly what is the cases on this. Yes, they do need to release the Epstein files. I've been saying this for months, years. Like as soon as I heard about this list, I'm like, why is it still not been released? I mean, we gotta know who these creeps are. We gotta know who these rich elite white pedos are. We gotta know all the rich elite creeps, the rich elite, including Puff Daddy. Well, I mean, any guy who names himself Puff Daddy, that was pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obvious that that guy was a creep. He calls himself Puff Daddy. Like Puff, any person who wants to be called daddy calls himself daddy or mommy. Any person who wants to, any rapper especially who wants to call himself daddy or mommy, especially Puff Daddy, Puff Daddy, Puff Daddy, that's a creep. Like I knew, kind of figured that P Diddy, especially P Diddy, with a name like P Diddy, the diddler, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, that is such a. So these people are open about it now. These people are open about being creeps. And yeah, all these people on the Epstein list, on the Diddy list, they need to be arrested. They need to be exposed. So, what happened to the noble men? Where are the noble army soldiers? The noble, strong men? There needs to be men. They were all taken out. They've been assassinated. That's what the other side is doing. The evil, demonic, satanic side. They are assassinating all of the male warriors, all of the men, all of the real men, all of the real male warriors like Charlie Kirk, all of the real noble men are being assassinated by the evil, satanic, communist people. Someone came in and said, I've never, listen, don't accuse me. One of these commenters came in and said something about deleting messages. I'm not sure if they were referring to me, but I don't delete messages. So it was probably YouTube that did it. It would have been YouTube that deleted the messages. I don't delete messages, okay? I mean, unless it's like my own message, unless like I said something because for example, right? The other day, I was told, we were all told, Megyn Kelly told us, former Fox News host former Megyn Kelly who had her own, was it MSNBC show, right? Megyn Kelly, I'm pretty sure Megyn Kelly had even her MSNBC show, which was canceled after what, a year. Megyn Kelly was the host of Fox News. Megyn Kelly is a big YouTuber. She has millions of following. She met with the president. She gave a speech on the same podium next to the president. So Megyn Kelly was the moderator in one of the debates between uh, Trump and Hillary Clinton. So Megyn Kelly, she's a big news source, and she had been reporting the other day that the shooter was trans. So I thought the shooter was trans because she reported that the shooter was trans. So I made some comments on just repeating what Megyn Kelly was saying, and then people tried saying it was misinformation. It wasn't misinformation. I was literally referencing Megyn Kelly. So if I delete my own comments, that's one thing. But I have never ever deleted anybody's comments unless I'm worried that those comments are gonna take down the YouTube stream because like if you say something like but even then I haven't, okay? In fact, there have been times when I get all of these moderator suggestions from YouTube, be like, you might want to moderate this. You might want. I'm like, it's fine, YouTube. I'm good. We're good over here. The live stream starts exploding, blowing up, right? All these people, and then the YouTube comes in with a suggestion of you might want to moderate this a little bit. I'm like, nah, freedom of speech. Let these people talk. Let these people say whatever they want. Freedom of speech, you know. So I'm very for freedom of speech. So I definitely did not delete your comments. In fact, I'm curious what your comments, whoever comments is you're saying were deleted. I'm curious now what those comments were because I didn't see them and I didn't delete any comments. So it was YouTube that would have deleted the comments, which is interesting because sometimes I do notice that it'll say message retracted by who. I don't delete messages, so it must be YouTube. So I want to get to the bottom of this as well. Who's ever deleting comments?